Right, everyone, welcome back to the Two Real Podcast. We're going to get straight into today's episode, and I'm going to be keeping it personal today. I'm going to be keeping it quite deep today. I'm going to be going into topics that genuinely align with how I'm feeling at the moment and certain problems I've faced and am still facing. So we're going to get straight into it today. And a lot of the things in life that are good, that are supposed to be good, have now been deemed as negative. I briefly spoke about this in my last podcast as well, but I wanted to elaborate on it a bit more because I always get asked why I'm doing good. Why are you eating good? How are you so consistent and disciplined every day? Why are you doing this sort of lifestyle? Why are you trying to live this sort of life? And it always confuses me to why doing the right thing is questioned. Why it's deemed as the wrong thing or otherwise different, to the point where people are having to constantly ask, like, why are you doing this? As almost it feels negative. That's the point I'm trying to catch there. As if it's a negative thing to be doing the right thing and to be going down the right path. And our society is so fucked, okay? I think we already know this. I think a lot of us don't even realise it because it's slipped under your feet so much because you don't even realise it. You just live your life, you stay in your comfort zone, you don't realise what's going on around you, okay? That you're doing the wrong thing and you don't even know you're doing the wrong thing. And that's the problem. The good is deemed as bad and the bad is deemed as good these days, okay? You will never hear people saying, oh, why are you partying? Why do you choose that way of life? Why do you choose that as your lifestyle? Why do you party? Why do you drink? Why do you smoke? Why do you vape? You'll never get these questions asked. But what questions I get asked are, why are you choosing this path? Why do you eat completely clean food? And that's another thing, like, because I eat completely clean food, people are like, oh, well, why are you dieting? Like, why you want to diet? You know, you want to get bigger. Why you want to diet? Why is eating a completely clean food diet seen as being on a diet? Why is it that not just a good way of living, the right way of living? Why is it seen as being a negative thing? I don't know. These are the questions I ask myself on a regular basis, and I struggle to truly come up with an answer. And the answer I give myself is the world is just so fucked nowadays. People's brains have become so damaged to what's going on around them, and they've stayed in comfort for so long that they believe they are doing the right thing. They believe that going down this comfortable path is the right thing, and it isn't. And that means the good things are deemed as the wrong things. They're deemed as the things where it's like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are you recording content? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do for me and the right thing to do for most in general. That's why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because it's the right thing. I'm doing it because that's the path that I have seen and I've opened up my eyes to, because I've realised what the right thing is to do, and I'm going to be willing to do it. And I think the hardest part about that is I am very much alone in it. I said this podcast is going to get deep today, and it is, because I am alone, okay? And I don't deem it as a negative thing, okay? I feel like no matter how old you are, no matter if you're a boy, girl, man, woman, you have to have a period in your life where you're alone, because it's time for reflection. It's time to realise what truly is important to you and what you truly want out of your life. I think alone time is genuinely important. And I've been dealing with a lot of alone time recently. I'm not a loner. It's not that I don't have any friends or close people around me. I choose it. I choose to be isolated because I'm working towards certain things in my life that are going to benefit me long term, and that have short term benefits as well. But one of the biggest problems most face, especially when they go down a different path, is being alone, loneliness. And my advice to overcome that is to realize that it's just okay to be alone. That being alone is actually extremely positive. It helps you realize a lot. It helps you open your mind up to the world, because you have time by yourself. You have to accompany yourself. That sounds very hard and it sounds boring as fuck, but you only have your own company. And when you have your own company, you begin to speak to yourself and you begin to ask yourself questions. And then this is gonna sound wacko, all right, but it's so true. When you're by yourself, you begin to ask yourself questions, and not only are you asking yourself these questions, you're finding the answers to those questions yourself. And when you do it all yourself, it makes you more intelligent as well, and it makes you open up your mind, because you're asking yourself these hard questions, but there's no one around you to ask. You only have yourself, so then you have to find a way to answer them. When you find the answers out, that's when your mind just clicks. Something changes. Your overall dynamic changes, and that's what it did for me. Having this alone time, I've realised so much, and my aspect on life, my differing opinions, and just everything in the way I act and the way I speak from now on, and the sort of opinions and things I display to myself and to you boys, have come off me being alone and me realising that the world is fucked. You know what the right thing is to do, so just do it and try and educate others to do it. That's my goal and that's my mission. And it's helped me realise that through being alone. Being alone is important. It helps you genuinely just have an open mind to certain things, because I think the reason is because there's no distractions. When you're alone, you have no distractions. You're by yourself. I mean, unless you keep yourself occupied through doing things like scrolling and distracting your mind, which I don't do. All that I do when I'm by myself is my work, filming, reading, meditating, all these positive things. So I have a lot of alone time, and when you have that alone time, you have a lot of time to recollect and think. So being alone doesn't have to be negative, okay? Because you can realise a lot through it, and it can completely change your whole perception or outlook on life, which it has for me. It can change your aspect. So just don't be annoyed or sad that you are alone. I'm still dealing with being alone. I'm not just speaking this in terms of a past event. It's still something I deal with today, and it's still something I'm going to be dealing with for a while, and I know that. But it doesn't have to be deemed as a negative thing. Actually, it can be deemed as quite a positive thing, like I just went over. I think the reason why a lot of us are alone as well is because, especially for me anyway, when you go down a different path in life and you choose a different destination, there's no one around you doing the same thing, or there's slim to none people around you doing the same thing. And when that's the case, of course you're going to be alone. I'm not going to force myself to be around a load of people who don't realign or align with how I view the world or how I do and say certain things. I'm not going to just be friends with people or be around people for no reason. You are a product of your environment, so sometimes it's better to be alone than be a product of a negative environment. 100% that's true. I'd rather be alone than be around people who make my life worse. That doesn't make any sense. For my next point, I need you to understand something for me. You need to begin to get in touch with your instincts. We all secretly know what we should be doing, but we're just not doing them. Why is that? You know what you should be doing. I know what I should be doing, but I'm doing it. And I'm still needing to continue to improve, of course, but I'm still doing it. What are you doing that you know you should be doing? Probably not much. You're probably actually going the opposite way, the opposite direction to what you know you should be doing and where you should be going. But why? You need to start getting a line. You need to start getting a line and getting in touch with your instincts, the things you know you should be doing, the good things. Not the bad, the good things, because sooner rather than later, if you do so, you will notice immaculate changes in your life. But you need to get in touch with them sooner rather than later to recognize that and to have that in full effect. Because you know deep down what you should be doing. I know deep down that what I should be doing, and I'm doing it. A lot of you aren't. Or a lot of you are half-arsing it. A lot of you are doing little bits here and there, and then the rest of the time you're just getting distracted again. I understand we're living in a distracting world. I understand we're living in a world full of comfort, a world full of dangerous goods, a world full of false perception, a world which tells you the bad is the good and vice versa, like my first point. A world that tells you, okay, it's okay to eat this now and again, or it's okay to eat this every day, it's okay to do these things every day or once in a while. It's not. but you're living in a distracting world which is telling you it is okay. So don't listen to that. Listen to me and understand that it's not okay. And the only way you start aligning with your instincts and what is actually truly right for you is to cut out all the negative shit out of your life and all the outside noise. Become tunnel visioned into genuinely doing the right thing. And your life will, of course, change. Your perceptional outlook will change. That's one of the most important things. Shifting that focus and that perceptional outlook on how you actually view your life and others' lives and the world in general, you know? I can't tell you what you should be doing. I can give you pointers and tell you to start eating right and to start going to the gym and to start trying to figure out how you could build yourself up or build your financial side up in terms of trying to chase financial freedom, traveling the world. I can tell you all these things, but they might not completely align with you, even if they are the right things. So you might have your own instincts, and I don't want you to act on negative ones. I want you to try and think of only positive ones, but I want you just to start acting on them and to get in touch with them and just noticing, and you will notice how it will change you and your life in general. Just please start actually getting in line with them and putting them forward. Not behind you, because when they're behind you, you're not going to see them. You're not going to see the results from them if it's behind you. It's the same with anything. If anything's behind you, you can't fucking see it. You got to put it in front of you, and you got to put it first to actually see the results and have the results in front of you. Focus on who you're meant to be, not who you're meant to be with. A lot of us are constantly trying to chase other people, if it mean friends, relationships, validation from others, or anything in general. Social media presence or followage. We're always trying to chase other people. Mostly I want to talk about relationship dynamics here. We're constantly trying to chase other people, and we find ourselves in negative situations doing so, and in situations we don't actually end up wanting to be in. And then that also worsens us as an individual. You have to earn the right to earning things. You have to build yourself up as an individual, and that's why you have to focus on you first. Focusing on building your life, focusing on building you as a person so you can attract. Okay? I'm not just talking about physical attraction. I'm talking about attraction in general, the law of attraction. If you generally build yourself up enough and you generally put yourself in positions to attract something, guess what's going to happen? You're going to attract it. You're going to start noticing it around you. You're going to start seeing those results. But you have to build you first. You have to focus on you and nobody else, especially in a relationship dynamic, because we're all trying to chase relationships. We're all trying to chase that partner, but especially a lot of my audience are probably between 16 and 25. You're at an age where you're at that peak performance. You need to be getting out there, working on yourself, building yourself up. You don't need a girlfriend at 16, 17, 18 years of age who is going to tie you down. Unless, obviously, the only exception to this is, okay, if you genuinely think you found someone who makes your life better, and the time you spent with them is better spent with them than spent on scrolling and doing negative things. If they generally impact your life in a positive way and you do positive things to them, which makes their life better and yours, that is the only exception. But I want to shy away from that because that is extremely rare, and it's only a certain circumstance in which most find when they improve their own lives first. You attract that later on anyway, if you generally focus on you first. So focus on who you are and who you're meant to be instead of who you're meant to be with. The past. And I said today, I'm going to keep it deep. All these points align with me. They all align with things I am dealing with. The relationship dynamic. I was chasing relationships before doing this sort of work 6 months to a year ago. I was chasing relationships. I was chasing that sort of short-term dopamine pleasure from what you get out of a relationship. I'm not going to go deep into that, but you can probably understand what I'm saying here. But yeah, I was chasing that. I was chasing constantly moving from one person to another. And it's such a waste of time. I wasn't able to achieve anything in that time except regret. So why is the question I ask myself a lot. And now I can give myself the answer. I was chasing it because the world was pushing that on me. I was believing I had to be in a relationship to be comfortable and to live a good life. But then I realised I'm 18 years of age. I've got time to build myself. And I will build myself. That's the most important thing. Focus on who you are, not who you're meant to be with. all these topics today align with me. They align with things I am dealing with, and I want to give you my own response on them. And I feel like it's necessary to make a video on this, and I think it's good to do it in the podcast episode, because all these topics I speak about today, and a lot of the topics I speak about all the time, they all align with me. Not only my perceptual beliefs and my perceptual outlook, but also things I am dealing with or have dealt with, okay? So everything today, or everything in most podcasts, I have dealt with this issue. I'm not just trying to give you advice on something I'm not advised on. I've experienced this for myself. I've experienced a lot of this for myself. So that's why I believe I could help you boys. And that's why I want to give you the same advice I gave to myself on how I got through these certain things. Ghosts from the past, okay? The past likes to haunt us, especially if we feel like we've moved on from it. It likes to slowly creep back on us every now and then. And for me, I was dealing with a personal problem where I did deal with a lot of bullying in school. I'm not fazed by it. I understand that probably I deserved it. I'm someone that likes to take responsibility and accountability for every action that happens in my life. If I was bullied, I probably deserved it. I was probably weird. I was probably disliked, and that's okay. But through being bullied when I was younger, I had a reputation on my name. When people would say my name, Ryanfarley, I knew there was negative connotations behind it. I knew people viewed me in a negative way. And even after school, I carried that on. I was thinking like, shit, I can't say my full name without thinking of that negative annotation of it. That sort of reputation that I once had in school. I just couldn't shy away from it. It was a ghost from my past. I couldn't get past it. It was haunting me. And to get past it, or before I even got past it, the troubles I dealt with was with one of my social media platforms. When I started a new account, instead of naming it Ryanfarley, I named it Ryan Stefan. And that is my middle name, and no one knew my middle name. So I was like, I'll start afresh. I'll use my middle name. And then I realized, what am I doing? I'm shying away from those mistakes. I'm shying away from those ghosts. I just need to face them head on. The only way to defeat those demons is to turn around and face them. Actually deal with those problems head on. So that's what I just decided to do. Why? I don't need my reputation to define me, especially at such a young age. So I can rewrite that story, and I can change and turn over the chapter for good and for a new start. And that's what I did for myself. So a lot of these past mistakes, they like to linger, okay? Not only do they happen and they hurt us, but they like to linger later on, and they like to be carried on to the future, and they do haunt us. And it's okay, but the only way you face that, and you face that problem, is the way you face with 99.9% of problems you will ever face in your life. And it's to face it head on. To turn around and to face that demon head on. That is the way you face it. It's going to be difficult, it's going to be hard, and it's going to make you feel uncomfortable in some sort of way. I felt then transitioning back to changing back to my name. I was like, on social media platforms, I was like, oh, well, now people are just going to see that I'm constantly changing this, I'm changing this, I'm changing that. They're just going to be like, what is this guy doing? So I was like, no, I'm going to change it anyway. I'm going to go with it. No matter the reputation, no matter how negative or dark, we're going to start afresh, even with being the same person. Onwards from the past, we need to focus on our future. And for me, manifestation is one of the most important things I have ever stumbled across. Manifesting and imagining in your brain that you already have achieved something, or you are going to achieve something. For me, I know exactly where I'm going to be 6 months or a year from now. I did that same thing last year, and I'm at that point. Maybe I haven't achieved much. Maybe I'm not as far as I needed to be. But the change I've made in my life in terms of habits and in terms of my perceptual outlook that I said I was going to make a year ago, and now fast forward 1 year, I'm now here. I manifested it. I believed I could do it, and I did do it. Manifestation is key. I manifest everything. I've got a driving test next week, and I'm manifesting the fact that I'm going to pass it. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't deserve it. Maybe God will be the judge of that. He always is the judge of everything. Maybe I won't pass it, but maybe I will. And what about if I imagine myself and I manifest myself passing it? Do you think I'm going to have more chance that way? Who knows? But why not? Especially for me, if I never manifested it and I just went into each day, just going into each day, just doing the work and not actually knowing what the future goal, the future end of the tunnel was and the future destination was, then what will it all be for? What will it all be for? I'd just be living out each day until the last. I wouldn't be doing it for nothing. There would be no reasoning there for actually needing to do these things. But I manifested my future. I understood the destination. I understood where the destination needs to be 6 months from now, a year from now. I manifest it. I believe I can do it. I do what is required, and I attract it and I achieve it. And that's what you need to start doing in your life. It's such an important skill. Understand what you first want. Understand what you first need, what you need to change, what things you need to implement in your life, and understand now, how can I further this? How can I actually get to this goal? Now I've changed first the negative things and added in the positive things. What more things can I add? What more ways can I improve? And how can I achieve this? First, it starts with visualization. You have to visualize it, you have to manifest it in front of you, and that you already have it. And then you will go out there and do everything required to achieve it. I want to speak about anger for a moment because it's one of the most challenging emotions to overcome. I feel like being sad is only a momentarily thing. It only really happens every now and then, even if you are an emotional person. But I feel like anger can haunt us on a daily basis, and it did for me. And you go one of two ways when you have anger and you have high amounts of anger. You're either angry at the world or you're angry at yourself. And I was actually both. I was a victim of both. I was angry at the world for why I was angry at myself. I was angry at myself because of the way I looked, the way I acted, the life I was heading down. And then I was angry at the world because I was blaming it because of the fact that why I was angry at myself was because of the world. That everything was just happening to me. I had this victim mentality. But all the things I was getting angry about were controllable. I can control them. So why am I getting angry? That was the turning point for me. That's when I started to become more calm and more chilled out, because I can actually control these things that make me angry. Maybe controlling the anger was not possible. You can't genuinely just control that and turn it off. But what you can control is the things that make you angry, so then the anger just disappears and it dissipates. And that's what I did, and that's where I am now. I'm a very chill, calm person. Sometimes I keep the energy quite high, especially on videos. I like to just give it to you boys. It's better that way. It's better to get points across than just to sob. I like to give it how it is, and that's just an important quality when it comes to building positive reputation. But anger was one of the hardest things I had to deal with. I was never even that much of an emotional person in terms of sad. I was just angry all the time. And I was angry at things I could control. And once I realised I could control them, and I started to control them, and I did control them, and I implemented things, and I changed things, my life became so much calmer and more peaceful. My mission and belief for myself is that I can do anything I want in my life, and I can achieve anything. That's the expectation you must have for yourself. Why because I'm born in this place, or my name is this, should I stop at that fact? Should I do the bare minimum for myself? I always get critics around me criticizing me for why are you choosing this way of life? But why not? That's the answer. Why not? Why not believe I can do anything no matter what my name is and where I'm from? It doesn't define me. What defines me is my actions and what I then do and end up achieving. But why not? It's going to be a short segment, but why not? Why not do that? Why not better your life? Why not change this, change that, implement this? Why not? Why not try and do the best possible thing you can for yourself? Why not try and build the best reputation you can for yourself? Why not try and build the biggest name you can for yourself? Why not? Why limit yourself and hold yourself back based on the fact that this is your name, this is where you're from, this is where you started? Why? Why are you doing that? And why do people critique others for doing so based off who they are now instead of who they are going to be, off what actions they're undertaking and doing? Comparison is the thief of joy. You may have heard this before. If you compare yourself forever and where people are now and their starting position to yours, you're never actually going to try and get to where they are, get even further than where they are. Okay? For me, I was comparing myself a lot to people who already had money, who already had success before I even started. I was like, what's the point of me starting? He already has that. How am I going to compete with someone who already is years ahead of me? And then I realized the guy I'm comparing myself to is 30 years old, 12 years older than me. His success is only money. There's no education. There's no he wasn't in great shape, and he's 30 years old. And when I manifest and really think about my life for a minute, when I'm 30 years old, for another 12 years of recording content and going to the gym and eating the way I do, I'm going to be shredded out of my mind. I'm going to be in the healthiest physique of my life. I'm going to have educated millions. These are the manifestation sort of goals I have for myself. So that's why I realised comparison is stupid. Maybe it becomes the thief of joy when you're comparing yourself to someone your age who already has it 10 times better than you. But a lot of the time that's not controllable. You need to focus on things that are controllable instead of things that aren't. And when you do that, you realise comparison is pointless, because you can cry about it, you can get angry about it, you can get pissed off at the fact someone has what you want and you don't have yet. But it's not gonna get you it. It's not gonna get you there. What is gonna get you there is actions and actually doing steps required to getting there. Okay. I was reading a book the other day. It's about this samurai, and basically there was a quote in it saying, I need to try and remember this. The journey to 1,000 miles starts with the first few steps, or the first step. Okay. Like, to achieve anything and to get to where anyone is, or to get to where you want to go, you have to actually take the action, take the first step, and most never do. And that's why most fail, because most talk about it, but they never truly take that first step. I'm going to go off topic for a second. I'm actually going to go back to relationships. It's not relationships in general, it's about heartbreak, okay? The importance of heartbreak for a man and for me, and the endurance that it offers, and that genuinely motivational side that it offers, okay? For me, I believe I've been in love once in my life, and I was young, so maybe it wasn't true love, okay? I don't want to go into it too much. I hate that sort of fucking cringy side, but I'm going to go into it for a second. I had my heart broken by someone I believed I really, really, really had a close connection with, and I believe they had a close connection with me as well, and they believed that as well. But then one day it just shut off. One day all doors shut, and we ended up never speaking again. And now I was broken. And through being broken, it gives you that motivation. It gives you that anger to now go and do the best thing for yourself, to make them look back and realise they made a mistake. I mean, I don't believe in doing that now. I don't think, oh shit, I'm doing this all because of the fact that someone I used to like 3 years ago fucking is going to look back and look where I am now. It's not what I'm doing it for. But in the moment, that's what genuinely pushed me. The importance of heartbreak for a man is so important. And most of us will endure a heartbreak in our lives. And a lot of us endure it very fucking early. And that's important. The earlier the better. The sooner the better, because it means then you're going to get on a good path. You're going to get that motivation. You're going to get that motivational boost. But don't think of it in a negative manner. Don't feel destroyed by the heartbreak. Understand that now you have that drive, you have that energy to do all the things you said you were once going to do, but you didn't because you were caught up on, actually that love. But now that love is gone, use that love as anger, use that as energy to now push forward and to go and do the best thing you can possibly do for yourself, because that's what I did, and now my life has changed for the better. And it was all in favour of heartbreak. It all started from that first heartbreak. It all started from realising, you know what? Why am I wasting my time with speaking to people, trying to fall in love with people at such a young age, when I could be focusing on this, when I could be using that energy towards this? So a heartbreak completely opened my eyes. I'm going to end this podcast today with my most important lesson I'm ever going to have to give. And it's about always trying to be perfect. You may have heard this before, but I heard this a few months ago and it stuck with me, and it's become such an important lesson I have to give to people nowadays. Instead of getting stressed and caught up on making the right decision, just make the decision right. A lot of us get caught up in the fact we're trying to be perfect all the time. We're always trying to make the right decision to please people around us, to please ourselves, to please anyone. We're just trying to make the right decision, and a lot of the time it's not for ourselves. But you got to realise failure is important. Don't focus on making the right decision. Without failure, you'll never be successful. No one does it on the first try. If they do, it's luck. And that's so. I mean, we create our own luck. Okay, a lot of the time we create our own luck, but some people do just get lucky. You can't get annoyed about that. Comparison is the thief of joy, like I said. But don't focus on making the right decisions. Obviously, we instinctually know what the right decisions are, but don't think about them too much. Don't overthink. Never overthink. Understand that it's okay if you fail it. Just now make the decision right. make the decision right after it has happened. And it sounds such like a stupid concept. Why wouldn't you do it before to save yourself failing in the first place? But a lot of the time when we're trying to focus too much on actually making a decision, we never even make a decision at all, let alone make the right or wrong one. So we just got to focus on doing what's right in the moment. If it doesn't end up being right later, that's okay. We will make the decision right later, and we'll learn from those failures. We'll learn from the mistakes, and we'll make the decision right. Just actually focus on doing what you need to do now and getting things done, and then making the decision right later once you realise you maybe possibly failed, because those lessons will build you. They'll build your character. Every failure I have enjoyed in my life so far has built me to become a stronger person, because I've then made the decision right and I've perfected it later on. So boys, that is going to wrap today's episode up. I think it's been a strong one today. I think it might have even been the longest episode today. I'm about to see how long it is because I've got my camera facing backwards. I use the back camera on my phone to record these. So yeah, I reckon it's been about 30 to 40 minutes, possibly even longer. But yeah, boys, it's been a good one today. I hope you boys enjoyed. I hope you boys took some valuable lessons today. I hope you are going to take this advice and you're going to put it into action. I hope my personal experiences help, because all of these are personal experience. They're all things that align with the way I am, the way I want to be. So yes, boys, let's move on to the next one, and I'll be seeing you boys next week on these podcasts, man. It'll be episode 7, I believe, next week, and this one's episode 6. So let's wrap it up now, boys. Goodbye.